Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wiki Weekends. I am your host for this week's episode, Lucas Holland, and as always, I'm joined by the lovely Karl Smallwood.
Hello.
I was tempted to say the post-apocalyptic Karl Smallwood, but that sounds a little bit cruel because today we are talking about Fallout once again.
I know I am recording from, the concrete fact bunker, but you don't need to do this, right?
That's the thing, Carl's been living in a vault this entire time.
I have. That's what I remember the pandemic, where it's like, why are you recording from, the Ukrainian bunker? And it's like, shut up, it's my house.
We are not discussing Carl's vault today, we are discussing Fallout 3, which, for me at least, is the game that got me into the Fallout franchise.
I think it's the game that got a lot of people into the Fallout franchise, much to the chagrin of Fallout fans who insist that it's not good. I'm inclined to agree with them, because we all saw that H-Bomber Guy video breaking down why it sucks.
I mean, I actually have not seen that video, but I guess now I'm going to have to go watch it.
It's 3 hours long, just to warn you.
No, that's what I like about their videos, because I can put that on while I'm playing, Destiny, and just be like, yeah, cool. That's 3 hours of background video sorted.
Put a clip in of his video, but the entire thing, so his video's like an hour long.
Putting the entire 3 hour video.
Just as a clip, yeah. As long as you credit him, it's fine, right? I'm sure H-Bomber Guy's not bothered about plagiarism of that scale.
Here it is.
But it's important to keep in mind that even without comparisons to the previous games, Fallout 3 fails on its own merits too.
Don't do that. Let's have it as running in the background the entire time.
Oh dear, but I guess after finishing this video, go give that a check out. Little shout out from Karl there. We're not going to steal your content, don't worry.
We would if we could, though.
No, we wouldn't, Karl.
I totally would. I'd steal all his content.
No, I don't want that on the record. I'm keeping it in the edit, but I don't want that on record.
Okay. Just disavow everything I say. Just have a big disclaimer on screen saying sarcasm.
Oh dear, and then people still won't get it. But yes, Fallout 3 is a 2008 action role-playing game developed by Bethesda Game Studios and published by Bethesda Softworks. So if people are not familiar, Bethesda Softworks is the publisher that, also publishes games like Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff, but Bethesda Game Studios are the people that brought you Skyrim, Starfield, Oblivion. They do the Elder Scrolls games, most of the Fallout games. They just released Starfield, that was last year, right?
Double check it, Starfield was 2023, yeah. Easiest way to tell, they made the games where if you go pick a fork up off a table, all the things on the table rise 1 inch off the table and fall to the ground, because their engine sucks.
I think this was, probably, the 80th game to run on that one same engine, because they keep just, updating the engine and being it's a slightly better version. It's why is Fallout 3 and Starfield built off, the same bones? That doesn't sound like a good plan.
I like the Bethesda games, the funniest ones to hear about, just how they jury-rig that shit to work. Because, one of the Fallout games, is it where they just slap a helmet on a guy instead of a train carriage and make him run really fast beneath the map?
But then it turned out that wasn't even a hat. It was a right arm accessory or something. But then it was, transposed from the right arm to become on top of their head. And it was just a train carriage getting ran down by an NPC.
Because they didn't want to put a train in the game, so they figured out a way to do it using just NPCs.
I wonder what happened with the verticopters. Did they just have a guy, in the middle of the copter just swimming in the air?
They may have done, yeah. So those are my favourite things about, the Elder Scrolls games. Of just play as an Argonian, steal stuff and hide underwater, and all the guards will swim underwater and drown, and you can steal their armour.
This was the first game for me that I'd really gotten into a Bethesda Game Studios game.
I played Morrowind, so I got really into that.
I tried out Oblivion because quite a few friends had been, this is the greatest game of all time, you need to check it out. And I rented Oblivion, maybe played 10, 15, 20 hours and was it's not clicking with me. And then I heard about this Fallout game that had come out, and I think January 2009 when my birthday rolled around, I was like, no, you know what, ask for this Fallout game for my birthday. For whatever reason, that did click with me, with I think maybe the tone and the setting clicked a bit better for me.
Also, you can shoot people and they explode, which is always fun.
Yeah, and it had the V.A.T.S system, which I thought was really cool. Eventually, after completing Fallout 3 and really falling in love with it, I went back and played Oblivion and was like, it clicked with me a lot better, and I understood kind of what a Bethesda game studios, like where the fun was within those games.
Yeah, and someone's going to correct you here and say the V.A.T.S system was in the original Fallout 1 and 2, like the isometric
In obviously
ones.
a very different way.
Yes.
Fallout went from like a top-down RPG to a
Isometric,
like it was an isometric game. Yeah, I haven't got too much experience with them, hence why we're talking about 3 now. And yeah, just it went from that to a first-person shooter with a lot of RPG elements, kind of very much a mix of the both. And the shooting sucks in this first-person shooter. What are we gonna do?
Yeah, like the shooting is so bad in those games. Like you can tell it was built off like the same engine that they made Oblivion on, because enemies will just run at you with guns. Like they've got guns, they run in a straight line towards you, because that's what the bandits were programmed to do in Oblivion.
Yeah, because of course they're using swords mostly. Did you not at least, tell the people with bow and arrows in Oblivion to stand back? No?
But I will tell you one of the coolest things I ever saw someone do when they were playing Oblivion is they caught an arrow in midair. Joe should like pick up objects in the world. They were mashing A and they picked up the arrow before it hit them. It is, in my head, it's like their character caught it and put it in their back pocket and fired it back.
That's one thing I love. It's not quite catching it in midair, but I mean, technically you can in Tears of the Kingdom, but I was going to say that, like in Zelda, when you catch all their arrows in your wooden shields,
Yep.
and then you just pocket them. But yeah, in Tears of the Kingdom, if you can be baller enough, just any item that someone throws at you, can use to just recall it back at them.
Now, what's the most baller thing you've done in a video game without meaning to? Because I think that's what my friend did when he caught the arrow in midair and his little went, I am a god.
I think there's just been times where playing PvP games like Halo or Destiny, where I've just come out and like squad killed, an entire team by accident in panic.
Oh, yeah.
And just gone like, oh, like, I don't really know what happened, but somehow I came out of that alive and got like a triple kill or something.
I think like Halo 3 once, I got like 7 kills with 1 grenade because I threw a plasma grenade at a warthog with 3 people in it that blew up and it flew. And it hit the rest of the team and killed them all.
And that's always my favourite thing, is back in the day when it was Halo, you could just go into theatre mode and see what had happened.
Oh, yeah, and there was always, like, so much fun stuff you could see in, like, the theatre mode. Like, I miss, like, that theatre mode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, lollowing, like, your guy around and, like, look at him go.
But then every now and then, you're just like, oh, there's just a person hiding around that corner. Let's watch what they did for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it means, they're waiting for the sniper rifle. What a coward. Tell me more about Fallout 3.
Fallout 3 is a game that marks a major shift in the series by using 3D graphics and real-time combat, replacing the 2D isometric graphics and turn-based combat of previous installments, and it was released worldwide in October 2008 for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360.
I think there was a mistake there, Lucas, because you said real-time combat, but you did not add the qualifier of it sucks.
It sucks, and at least nobody I'm aware of actually used the real-time combat within that.
No, everyone has used V.A.T.S.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like they should have done like a system like Final Fantasy VII Remake with the cross between the active time battle system and the classic way, where just as soon as combat starts, the entire game slows down and you make decisions.
I guess that's kind of what they did, because, in Final Fantasy VII Remake, for example, if people don't know, you can either just play the game almost as if it's some kind of like action game, where you can do everything in real time, hotkey every ability to buttons and stuff, or you can click like the X button on PlayStation, just bring up a menu and the whole world slows down while you make decisions. And
yeah, I guess that's what the V.A.T.S system is.
That's kind of what the V.A.T.S system is, yeah.
I will say, though, in the Fallout 2 and 1, the V.A.T.S system was better in that because you could specifically aim for the eyes. And that's just such a dick move, right? To specifically aim for someone's eyes.
What did the V.A.T system do in Fallout 1 and 2 then? Because they weren't real-time combat, so how did V.A.T affect everything?
You get to pick what you aim for. I do like in like a D&D game, like you roll through it, I attack this character's legs.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, I think I always went for like a limb first, because you could either stop them sprinting directly towards you, or you could just shoot the gun out of their hand or something.
The real baller thing though was like go for both legs and then the head. It reminds me of like when you play Red Dead. Is there a bigger downgrade in like one of those Rockstar games than the upgrade, quote unquote, you get to Deadeye in the Red Dead games, where you go from being able to individually paint where you shoot to where it auto paints?
Does it just do the headshot on everyone?
No, it's just like what you used to be able to do is like pick where you'd shoot the bullets in real time, or like in slow down time in Deadeye. But then the upgraded version, and I think it's upgrade is using like some heavy lifting, because everyone agrees that it's worse. Where basically as you go, like you swing your reticle over a character, it just automatically targets that thing, and there's no way to undo that. Which means that if like you want to be a baller when you have it in the worst version, you can just only shoot people in the penis.
Yeah.
But the problem that you have with the upgraded version is that, say if you're like swiping over someone, you'll put like 3 shots on that person, and it's like, but I don't want to shoot them 3 times. And it sucks. Yeah. There's so many like cool compilations out there of people just like, is this the greatest Deadeye you've ever seen? And it's just like John Marston or Arthur. He shows you the slow-mo, then he shows you in real time, and it's fucking terrifying.
That reminds me, oddly, of like the relatively newer Splinter Cell games, where it was like Conviction and Blacklist, I think they were, where they had that system where you can just mark a target, and if you had like the right number of, abilities unlocked, you could just press like, oh, do the kill now.
Yeah. And
it would just go into like a cutscene and just auto kill like the 3-4 people that you've painted as targets.
Because Sam Fisher's just that good.
But I'd always do it where it was like, get the people that are just in line of sight. And like the furthest across the room, the hardest to get. But then Sam Fisher just pulls out a pistol and just headshots them from like 100 meters away.
Sam Fisher is that good. And I really like it. It's a weirdly specific thing to highlight, but I do have an example you can put a clip in of so people can know what I mean. Okay. And it's where you are shown something in slow motion and you see how cool it looks. And then they show you in real time so you can appreciate. The person who got, like, wrecked had no chance. And the example that springs to mind is in Inglourious Bastards. Do you know where, like, that guy does that hero sprint to the guy guarding Hitler?
Oh,
and he does it
in
super slow-mo, and he charges across the room like the little gun in his wrist. But then it shows you in real time, and he's 1/4 of a second, just tackles him and blows his head off. And you realise, yeah, that's how that guy didn't know what was happening. That's in real time what happened.
Yeah, maybe I can put most of that clip in until you say the words heads blown off. Dear God. But anyway, back to Fallout 3. The game is set within a post-apocalyptic open-world environment that encompasses a scaled region consisting of the ruins of Washington, D.C., and much of the countryside to the north and west of it in Maryland and Virginia, collectively referred to as the Capital Wasteland.
And it was an interesting location. There's a couple of like Washington monuments there, but I still think they could have done more with it. The thing I remember about Fallout 3 is that everything just looked the same. Everything was just brown.
Everything was very brown, and it's kind of justified when it is the post-apocalyptic wasteland.
But still,
but it was also in that time of gaming where everything was just grey and brown, so it felt so much worse.
But then you compare it to like Oblivion, where Oblivion is green, it's a fantasy setting, not like, a post-apocalyptic sci-fi one, but it still has more variation. Like there's areas with cold and snow, or areas like with water. Everything in Fallout looks the same, and you just need to look at New Vegas to see if they could have made it look different. Because in New Vegas you have like the Strip.
New Vegas, also a very brown game.
It's very brown, but it does have elements of colour, and there's characterful moments, and there's at least some interesting architecture that you can go explore. Like the fact that Fallout 3, I'm pretty sure you can't go to the White House in it.
I can't remember about that, yeah.
I can't remember if the White House is there. Let me double check.
I do feel like it was one of the DLCs that let you go into the Oval Office or something.
Yeah, I think he goes like Pennsylvania. He says here that it appears in the add-ons Broken Steel.
Yes, okay, yeah. I thought there was like an element of it, but not in the base game, yeah.
He's wild, right? You're going to set a game in the nation's capital and not let you go to the White House?
Mm-hmm.
Even Call of Duty lets you go to the White House. Do you remember that? One of the Call of Duty games where it's like Washington's getting blown up and you got to go to the White House.
I think that may have been like Modern Warfare 2, maybe? Which Modern Warfare 2 do I refer to? Like the original one?
Well, it's the thing, isn't it? Like, if you're going to set a game in that locale, you have to put in the things everyone wants. But if a game's set in France, I want the Eiffel Tower. If a game's set in New York, you want like the Empire State Building, the Chrysler Building, unless it's Spider-Man and they don't want to put the Chrysler buildings, they want to pay the rights. If it's set in the UK, you want like Big Ben.
It would be very odd if there was a game trying to be an RPG open world set in London and say you couldn't go to Buckingham Palace.
So I want to go to Buckingham Palace and like I want a Fallout game set in the UK. I want to go to Buckingham Palace and just see like the throne and sit on the throne.
And that's not to say that there are games that have been set in London that don't let you do that. I'm sure there's plenty of like people commenting like, well, this game didn't let you go to Buckingham Palace in London. Like, yeah, I'm sure that's happened, but it's stupid still.
Well, what's the point of setting it in this locale if you're not going to take advantage of the most iconic aspects of it?
Mm-hmm.
It might as well just be a generic city at that point. Like, why would you set it within this locale? It's like the Assassin's Creed games, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
The whole point is they set me different regions of the world in different time periods. Like, imagine if they made, like, the second one, and they didn't let you go to, like, Il Duomo or anything like that. We're going to set it in Florence, but you can't go to any of the iconic places in Florence.
Yeah, and they lavishly recreate cities to an insane point in the Assassin's Creed games, and it's great.
As they should, yeah, because would you... What's the point of setting it in that location and time if you're not gonna?
Mm-hmm. To the point where they even, I remember, I think it was Assassin's Creed Origins, where they introduced the museum mode or whatever it was called.
Yeah, tourist mode, you could just go visit the locales.
Yeah, you could just go into, like, the tombs of the pyramids and learn about the pyramids and shit.
Which is awesome. And that's the thing, if you're going to set a game in one of these locations, let me, like, take full advantage of that location, its geography and the fact, like, that people, like, want to see and experience these things.
Mm-hmm. I do like the setting of the Capital Wasteland. I do think they do quite a bit with it in terms of they do have some things that, again, like the White House should have been explored more and should have been in the base game, but the fact that just they have a good mix of here's some things that you would recognize from Washington, D.C. and its surrounding areas, but also give you iconic places like Megaton and Tenpenny Tower. There's a lot of other places that you go through, but I've probably been to a lot of these locales once 15 years ago, whereas I played the opening of the game a few times, and like, of course I remember like Megaton.
Megaton was always so great as well, because I just love the robots, like, don't mind the bomb, and you walk in, there's people worshipping it, wanting to set it off.
I did feel real bad on the one playthrough I did where I blew up Megaton.
See that very often.
Especially when Moira comes out and she's a ghoul down. Because she's just so nice. All she wants to do is help you.
You literally blow her up.
Yeah, and she survives though. It's okay. She comes back as a ghoul now. She'll live forever, so it's okay.
And obviously we are talking about this to, generally coincide with the Fallout TV show coming out. And I will say that I think is it Walton Goggins that's playing a ghoul in that.
Walton Goggins is just such a good actor.
He's a really good actor, but just the effect works that I've seen from the posters and stuff, that ghoul looks really good.
It does. The thing is that Walter Goggins kind of looks like that in real life. I know hate on Walter Goggins. No, he's a character actor.
That's so harsh.
No, he's a character. He's like
he doesn't look like a ghoul.
No, do you like Steve Buscemi? Like, he's a character actor who's known for having a very distinctive look. Walter Goggins he has very sharp features.
He does, but doesn't say that he looks like the ghoul.
I'm not saying he looks like... I mean, he's got the kind of features where you still recognise him as the ghoul because his face is like, that distinct.
Well, now that is a very small drop in a very, very large bucket of drugs.
Karl just coming from fucking orbit with that dunk on him.
No, I'm not saying Walter is a handsome dude.
He is.
But you'd recognise him even in the ghoul makeup because he has such distinctive features. Sorry, Walter Goggins, I love you, man. You're really, really fucking good in Invincible. And in The Shield.
Oh, but anyway, downloadable content is set within Pennsylvania, pre-war Alaska, and outer space.
Yeah, because there's just aliens and shit in that DLC, which is what you want from a game like that, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what you want, because especially when there was the crashed alien ship in, like, the corner of the map.
Yes.
And you could get that one alien blaster that just annihilates.
The only way to repair it is with the DLC.
Yeah, the classic thing of just, you know, all those YouTube thumbnails from like 15 years ago of like, go get this weapon now.
All the Easter eggs are like, go find the skeleton that's inside of the refrigerator. As a reference to the Indiana Jones movie that had just come out.
And a reference to the fact that, yeah, he just died. Like, you're not surviving a close-range nuke just by hiding in a refrigerator.
You were one of those 1950s refrigerators, maybe, but the problem with those 1950s refrigerators is that they don't open from the inside because so many kids died. Have you ever wondered like why fridges like have so many weird safety features? It's because in the 50s, kids climbed into them and died because they couldn't be opened from the inside because they vacuum seal. So do you see, oh, this fridge from the 50s still works? That's why, because they vacuum sealed shut and kids getting trapped inside.
Yeah, it keeps food fresh, but if your kid walks inside of it, then that's very fucking dangerous.
That's why there's that like fan theory that like all of Crystal's skull is Indiana Jones just dying of radiation poisoning inside of the fridge.
I mean, that may have made things better because that means he wouldn't have had to come back for Dial of Destiny.
He goes back in time in that one.
No, I love the fact that Fallout world just like they really didn't care, and don't know how much of the tone was kept from Fallout 1 and 2 into Fallout 3. It seems like a fair amount.
Much. There was some of it, but like Fallout 1 and 2 had a more wry tone, which is more present in New Vegas, which wasn't Bethesda, that was Obsidian.
It was, yes.
It added more of the wry, sarcastic humor of the original series. Fallout 3 played it a little bit more straight than maybe it should have done.
I think in terms of the tone, I think it kept a lot of the like aesthetic tone, but not necessarily the writing, yeah.
It apes the visuals, like the guys in power armor. And, like everyone knows the power armor guys. It's like literally one of the first things you'd see booting up the game. And like the original, he's like the guy on the box of the original game.
And the guy on the cover of Fallout 3.
I fucking hate the power armor. I hate how it's become the iconic visual of Fallout, because like when Fallout 4 came out, they give you power armor within 5 minutes of playing.
I thought that was a really cool concept, but then the power armor just wasn't fun to play in, so I never got in it again.
Yeah. It's also as well that it was supposed to be a reward. Like, it was one of the single most powerful things in that universe, and they literally just give you a set of it within 5 minutes to play Fallout 4.
Almost every decision that they made, from going to the dual games of like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, the decisions they made going to Fallout 4, almost every single change I disagree with making.
Lucas, another settlement requires your aid.
Oh, God.
That guy will chase you across the entire fucking world. Although we do have to give the big props to one of the funniest images that came out as a result of that game, which is new speedrun tech discovered, and someone's went into the town builder and built a giant, like, 100-foot tall billboard that says, "Where the fuck is my son?" A new speedrun tech discovered.
There are elements of Fallout that I did like, but even the idea of giving your own character a voice, it just means that the amount of dialogue options were just piss
also
poor.
as well, they didn't tell you exactly what you were going to say, so you'd be like, oh, positive, and you'd like, well, then you'd have an entire sentence like, well, that's not what I meant to say.
It's like those ones in Mass Effect, isn't it, where it'll give you like 4 words of just, oh, Shepard does not approve, and you click on that one. And then Shepard goes on this, like, tirade and shoots somebody else. And it's like, I didn't mean that, no!
Like, safe word, safe word.
It really baffles me going from Fallout 3 where, yeah, it was an action role-playing game, but it was a role-playing game. And then they went, yeah, but we could sell more if we just made it an action game,
We're going to make a really
right?
shitty action game. Again, one of the funniest things that came out as the release of Fallout 4 was people posted, like, piss-take MLG-style videos of quickscope montages, which just showed off how shit the hit detection on the guns was.
I imagine that the disappointment Fallout 1 and 2 fans had going into 3, I imagine that's what I felt going from like 3 and New Vegas
and we apologise
into
that
4.
saying 3 and New Vegas in the same breath, because fans very specifically say they're not the same game, they're made by different developers. We see them as the same thing, even though they're made by different people.
They're made by different developers, but Fallout New Vegas is building on the skeleton that was Fallout 3 and improving it in many ways, but I don't think that it completely makes Fallout 3 irrelevant, because I do like the setting of Fallout 3 a little bit more, like especially when you add on all of the extra DLCs and stuff. Like, I prefer that setting because a lot of New Vegas was just walking through a desert.
I guess we've got to talk about the ending, though, which could fuck off.
Oh god, yeah. We've brought this up a few times over the years of making videos, but just the original Fallout 3 ending. Okay, so we're going to where the end of the plot is here. So I'm going to be just jumping into where like the last mission is, but a lot of the build up here is basically just there's like a Project Purity that is trying to purify the water again to make it drinkable, because obviously it was irradiated within the Fallout. There's also, you know, somebody wants to use Project Purity to use like a modified strain of this FEV to make it toxic to any mutant life, thus killing off most life in the wasteland as well.
Yes, that'll kill off all of like the super mutants and the ghouls, which is kind of mean considering that the super mutants are 100% sentient.
Yeah, both the super mutants and the ghouls, like, yes, you kill a lot of them, but some of them are literal like party members and people that are merchants and stuff. They are shown to have just full intelligence and sentience, as you
and
say.
the ones that you do kill are large, like the feral ones. And admittedly, though, you also kill a lot of people because there's a lot of bandits in the wasteland.
Yeah, exactly. You probably kill just as many people who are just trying to kill you.
How many fucking bandits do you kill just going to Mega Mart?
That's true. Or how many cannibals do you kill in the subway?
I do like the vampires in the subway. The thing is that we might be
it was the vampires in the subways, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, you have to give blood packs. You have to convince them to drink blood instead. But that might be a New Vegas mission. I'm not sure.
That's
you can
the thing.
like mix it in my head.
A lot of the time, a lot of the missions, which is why I didn't want to get into the details of like too many missions in this video, because a lot of them are probably New Vegas missions that I've misremembered as Fallout 3 ones, or vice versa. Yeah, but one thing I haven't forgotten about is the ending here, where just, yeah, you end up getting to a point where, you know, final mission, you've reached like the control room, the player can convince Autumn to leave or kill him, and Lee informs the Wanderer that the Purifier is ready for activation. I know I just said some names there that we haven't covered. They're inconsequential to what like that final act of the game is.
Yeah, basically there's just guy trying to stop you from giving people free water, because it is a resource that they should have access to, so they can give it to those they think are deserving of water. I wonder if there's any messaging behind the themes of this video game.
Zero, Karl.
That's someone representing, like, you know, the failed government of the past is trying to control water.
Yeah, literally everybody's access to water, and trying to murder a large portion of other populations.
An undesirable aspect of the population that they don't like because they're different. Again, I wonder if there's any messaging in this video game, because I doubtless there will be people annoyed that there are quote-unquote politics in the Fallout TV show.
Oh god, yeah.
Which, as we all know, is always code for there are women and black people in it.
And it's like, okay, cool, great. I'm so glad that like Fallout finally went woke. You're ready to activate the Purifier. The code must be manually inputted within the control room, meaning whoever goes in will be subjected to lethal amounts of radiation. To make matters worse, the Purifier has been damaged and will self-destruct if not activated.
Yeah, and there's absolutely nothing you can do to avoid dying at the end of the game. You can eat like 1,500 Rad-X and like rad away things all at the same time. You can slow down time, you can put tooltips in to make yourself invincible. You will die every time regardless going into that room. And even worse, Lucas, what can't you do?
Well, what you can do, Karl, you get multiple options. You can do nothing and let the Purifier explode, destroying the Jefferson Memorial and killing everyone inside in the process.
Which normally happens by accident because people keep... I think my first playthrough, everyone died because I was just like, well, there's got to be a way to go in there without killing myself.
And then it just blew up.
Yeah, it blew up and killed me.
You can sacrifice yourself and input the correct code that is hinted throughout the game, or you can send Brotherhood of Steel Paladin Sarah Lyons into the chamber and give her the right code. It says here, except for the first choice, the Lone Wanderer can also introduce the modified FEV into the Purifier or not, which further affects the ending. But whatever the choice, a bright light enshrouds all, and an ending slideshow begins, including any actions the player took that had an influence on the wasteland, and then that's just it.
And so it was that the Lone Wanderer ventured forth from Vault 101, intent on discovering the fate of a father who had once sacrificed the future of humanity for that of his only child.
And you can't keep playing the game. There's no post-game. There's no ability to go traverse the world and see the impact you made on it, unless you buy the DLC.
Exactly. The game literally is just like, cool, you've done the last mission, white light, game over. When you buy the Broken Steel downloadable content, it creates a new choice with the ending in that the Lone Wanderer can send one of their radiation-immune companions to go into the chamber and input the code.
Which is not an option in the base game, and is something people like. Forks is a super mutant, and super mutants are wholly immune to radiation.
Completely.
It does not affect them. You have a ghoul companion as well, I think. Or maybe
Yeah, I
that's in
think
the
you
next
can
game.
do, but it does say most notably Forks, the super mutant, is the main option here.
And ghouls aren't just immune to radiation, it actively heals them. And that's not an option in the base game, and so many people are like, why can't I send Forks in? Forks is immune to radiation. Why do I have to die? And I think in the Broken Steel DLC, put the clip in, if you send Forks in with that new choice, he calls you a coward for not wanting to die. He's like, you're immune! You won't die!
And I believe in the base game, you remembered Forks saying something along the lines of, this is not my mission, you must do this.
So in the base game, before you get the DLC, if you ask Forks to go in, he says, this is your choice, not mine. It's like, but I'll die if I go in and you won't.
No, I'm sorry, my companion, but no. We all have our own destinies, and yours culminates here. I would not rob you of that.
There's never been a clearer example of fuck you by the DLC. Because what makes it even worse, that guy you mentioned, Colonel Autumn, has unique loot that he drops that you can only use in that one room. So you get unique loot from him that you can't use because the end of the game is 5 minutes later, which means they knew they were going to release DLC that would let you keep playing.
It was framed as, we've heard your feedback, we fixed it in the DLC. The problem being, they could have fixed it in an update and then put the Broken Steel DLC into buy. Like, they didn't need to tie that in with the Broken Steel DLC as a purchase.
It is one of the most blatant examples of this is to sell the DLC. I said there is unique loot in that end mission, which you can't use because the guy who drops it is the last enemy you ever fight.
Furthermore, the game remains open-ended from this point onwards, with the Wanderer surviving the radiation they were subjected to. And yeah, it's the only way that you can actually get past the end of the game. And the game does a bad job of letting you know, by the way, if you go into this mission, that's it, the game is done forever.
Yeah, you don't get that thing you get in a lot of modern video games, and I really do appreciate of. Are you sure you want to go on with this mission? Make sure if there's anything that's left to be cleaned up, you should probably do it now.
I mean, and there are some elegant solutions, there are some non-elegant but very obvious solutions. Where just for example, I remember in Horizon, the first one, it just comes up with a big text wall of like, look, if you keep going, this is the point of no return. And this is really immersion breaking, but I appreciate how clear you are being on this. But there are much cleaner ways of a lot of NPCs being very clear of, are you sure you really want to clean up anything you've got to do before you go into this mission? Like, I'm playing through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the moment. There's so many times where the current section I'm in, without warning, has sent me into hours worth of you can't access the open world anymore.
Just rail. But I will give props though. There is a point in the game where they tell you if you click this screen, that's it.
Right, okay.
There is a point where it will tell you, but it's right at the end of the game.
But there are multiple times throughout the story where just with almost zero warning, the game just breaks off your party, locks your party selection, and tells you can't access the open world right now.
And that sucks. It never feels good.
No.
It never feels good having control taken away from you.
It really doesn't. And the fact that the game keeps just pulling that trick over and over, and every time I'm never excited about it. I'm always just frustrated.
It leaves such a sour taste in your mouth at the end of the game of, you don't end the game thinking, wow, what a great game. You end it saying, that fucking sucks. I had no choice but to just kill myself, even though there was like multiple other choices. Immediately, obviously present.
And you're talking about Fallout now, not Final Fantasy. Yeah. Carl didn't just drop a bunch of Final Fantasy Rebirth spoilers on you, don't worry. But like, yeah, I don't really think there's many games where I've felt so sour at the end.
It immediately put me off ever playing that game again.
I changed my tune when I don't even think at the time I bought the DLC. I think at the time the DLC for like the Game of the Year version was just on a disc and you loaded the disc in and it
oh yeah, because it was that era when
downloaded
they
it.
didn't realise we'll put the DLC on the disc rather than let you download it, because then when you have it on a disc, anyone can have it, and they can't be having that, Lucas.
Yeah, because I remember what it was I think it was Fallout 3, it might have been New Vegas, it may have been both, where my friend bought the Game of the Year edition, like a year later or whatever, and it had all the DLC on a second disc, and it was just, this is the install disc, and then you put in your regular disc, and you play the game. But that just meant that my friend could come round to my house,
give you the DLC,
give me the DLC, and then just I play the game.
Do you think like anyone at like these big companies gets really mad when they think about that? Do you think like Bobby Kotick wakes up in a cold sweat thinking all the money he could have made?
He's just watching me explain that on this video right now, and Todd Howard's just like frothing at the mouth, like, how dare you?
We could have made more money than the billions we made already. Never forget, Bethesda was bought for twice as much as Star Wars was.
Oh, man.
It was bought for $8 billion, Star Wars was $4 billion.
I guess at the same time, you think about how much inflation would have changed those rates. I don't know what the comparison is like between them, but...
Yeah, I'll never forget when I saw one. I was like, do you know when like Last Jedi came out and everyone was like trying to hate on Star Wars? I saw some like shitbird online of like, do you think Disney regrets buying Star Wars? And it's like fuck, they do. They got an absolute steal.
They did, for the entire Star Wars franchise, they got a bargain and a half, yeah.
Just access to the merchandising rights alone.
You go into Disneyland, I go to Disney relatively often, and nowadays obviously they have the like Star Wars Galactic bit that I haven't been to
Galaxy's
yet.
Edge, yeah.
Galaxy's Edge, that's it. And go into like half of the shops across all of Disneyland, and it doesn't matter whether you're at Galaxy's Edge or not, there's probably this thing from Adventureland crossed with Darth Vader.
The fact that someone tried to argue that, it probably wasn't worth it to Disney just because they didn't like The Last Jedi, and it's like, I get that you didn't like that movie, but you are a fucking idiot.
But the movie itself made a lot of money, and the merchandise that they sell at parks and shit, that, god damn, it's just everywhere.
I'm gonna say they like Bethesda, of like, we buy Bethesda, we own Doom, so that's worth it.
That's the sad part, right? Is we've got Bethesda saying we want to make the next Fallout game, but then you've got Obsidian knocking on the door like, let's just make another New Vegas. Let us do it. We both are under Xbox now. Let's just make this happen. And they're like, no. We're going to go and spend like 25 years making the next fucking Elder Scrolls game.
That game's going to be so good, though. Like I said, I can't wait till I pick up the most detailed rendered fork in existence, and then all the thing on the table explodes.
It's like, we already spent far too long on Starfield, which came out with just a whimper. Now we're going to go...
The wettest of farts, yes.
Yeah. Now we're going to go spend 6, 7, 8 years making Elder Scrolls. Then we're going to go spend another 6, 7, 8 years making Fallout 5. So I don't want to be playing the next Fallout game in 20 years. Give it to Obsidian. Let them do it.
Let them do it. No. You will make our DLC and you will like it.
One other thing that I would be so disappointed by as well is just if we finally get the agreement of Obsidian are going to make the next Fallout game. Thank God. Yeah. And they just go, it's going to be Fallout New Vegas 2. It's like, oh no. I'd hate that. Just give us a complete new setting to enjoy.
So I want to see, if you're going to do the Fallout series, where would you like it set? Because let's say Fallout became Assassin's Creed. And they just start, fuck it, we're just going to see other areas of the world that has got annihilated by the nuclear explosions. I'd love to say Britain.
There wouldn't be much of a difference, right?
I was about to make that joke, yeah. Because I always think when my friend got the exact moment he got sick of playing that Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which is set in the UK. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun playing that? I was, until one of our missions was to go to Doncaster. And I went, fuck with Doncaster. It's like Doncaster's in that game. It's like, why would I want to go to Doncaster? Why would I play a video game?
Even people in Doncaster don't want to go to Doncaster.
I just remember I laughed so hard when he said that. I thought, why'd you stop playing? One of the missions was to go to Doncaster. I had to stop playing.
What a beautiful summation of that game. Like, no, I don't want to go there.
I was just like howling when he said that. Because I looked and there is Doncaster in that.
I think just for the sake of it would be interesting knowing the UK and seeing that comparison, but I don't really know where in the Fallout universe is and isn't affected. maybe go to China because it was part of like an American-China war that kicked off the Fallout, right?
Well, here's the thing. All you need to think is, what area of the world do you want to see the cool visuals of it being like in a complete state of destruction? Like Paris. I want to go like put it in Paris so I can see like the Eiffel Tower.
Not that I want to see any of these places destroyed, but how interesting would it be to go through like a destroyed apocalyptic Shanghai, for example?
Yeah. Not one of those like
not in
like
the
Hong
sense
Kong.
that I want Shanghai to be destroyed. Just there's not many games where you even get to explore Shanghai.
Yeah, the one Assassin's Creed game with a 2D one.
Oh, was there? I didn't even realize there was a 2D one set in China, but yeah, there's so many Assassin's Creeds, it's hard to keep track of them all. I guess let us know in the comments where you would like to see a Fallout game set. Don't tell us where you want to see blown up. Tell us where you'd like to explore in a cool, different setting.
What area of the world do you think has interesting geography that you think would make for an interesting game?
Mm-hmm.
And what underexplored parts of the world do you think would make for an interesting? And what urban environment do you think would be interesting to sprawl through?
Because that's part of the thing, is it would be quite difficult, I guess, to have just such a packed, game, but it's meant to be a nuclear wasteland. Like, it makes a bit more sense when it is a lot of the games are set in America, where generally a lot of things in America are more widely spread apart anyway.
Yeah, even if within America, like I would just like Mount Rushmore. That'd be an interesting visual.
It would certainly be interesting in Fallout. Like, what does the Mount Rushmore look like in Fallout?
And I don't mean New Vegas too, so we've already seen Vegas. Like, go to like, LA. I want to see Hollywood. Let me see just fucked up post-apocalyptic Hollywood. Imagine the characters they could put in.
Yeah.
Like the characters, like you have like the strip, like Benny and stuff, and like there's the 1950s gangster. Let me see like the celebrities of that world. Who are like, the 1950s starlet and actor-inspired kingpins ruling over Hollywood.
That would be really fun, yeah. When you say it like that, it's like, yeah, that sounds cool. Thank you all for watching. I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I hope everyone gets to go and enjoy watching the Fallout TV series. We generally record these and put these out towards like the beginning of the shows coming out, and we never know whether the shows are going to be any good, so I hope it's been good for people.
It's always a risk, isn't it? Like, okay, it was a Fallout show coming out, which will make a Fallout themed video, but it could suck.
It could suck, and I think we avoided it with the Halo TV show because we could just see it being bad from a million miles away.
The thing is, though, I would love to talk about the Halo TV show, and it's not the Halo TV show that killed my interest in Halo. It was everything that Halo's done in the past 10 years.
Yeah, it was the last 3 Halo games that also did it.
So I kept getting asked, are you going to watch that Halo show? It's like, I've not thought about Halo since I booted up Halo 5, or Halo Infinite, and went, is it co-op? And I went, no. So I installed it when I'll play it when it's co-op, and it never got co-op.
It just isn't. I mean, it is online co-op, but I wanted to play it, I wanted to play that split-screen couch co-op experience of what I had fun with Halo in the past.
That's all I wanted. It's what they promised, and they didn't deliver, so I don't care.
Even though, like, people managed to make a glitch happen to make it work within the game, it was, like, working and viable. Oh dear, but thank you all for watching. Hope everyone has a lovely day, and leave us a little like and comment and subscribe and all that jazz if you think we've earned it. Thank you.
Cheers, everybody.